without any reservations. All serious-minded citizens of the state can clearly determine the extent to which the present administration, under the leadership of Prince Dapo Abiodun, is willing to traverse in search of the all-important need to secure its citizens from the activities of mindless criminals and never-do-wells who still live under the illusion that they can thrive through criminality of any or all kinds. And without fear of contradiction, one can safely adduce that barely has any administration prior to this expended so much into provision of security, whether in terms of political capital, adoption of synergy between and among various components of law enforcement, provision of state-of-the-art security vehicles and other equipment for fighting crime, and most recently, the embarking on a vibrant collaboration as part of unending measures to ensure that good and well-meaning people of the state go about their normal lives devoid of fear. This has found expression with the commitment of the state governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, and his Oyo State counterpart, Engineer Seyi Makinde, which was arrived at a strategic borderline security meeting between Oyo and Ogun State, held at the Ogun State Presidential Lodge in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, to join hands and collaborate to strengthen security around the border areas of the two states. Joining the two governors at the meeting were the commissioners of police in both states, heads of other law enforcement agencies, the attorney generals of both states, royal fathers, and other top government functionaries. Addressing his guests, the Ogun State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, affirmed that his administration will continue to make life unbearable for criminally minded persons in the state, noting that the meeting was long overdue as the time was ripe to put an end to criminals making use of the long stretch of the borderline between the two states to hide after perpetrating their evil acts.
There is no more hiding place for those criminals that believe that they can operate between the outer fringes of Ogun and Oyo State, where they believe that they can escape the hands of the law. After we launched our UPMESA last week, understand that they've been working extremely hard. In fact, what I hear is that those criminals are now saying that Dapo Abiodun is making life unbearable for them, and that they are going to also come after me. Well, let me assure you that I will continue to make life intolerable and unbearable for you, and I'm waiting for you.
Affirming the bond and brotherhood common to the two states, Prince Abiodun confirmed that the reputation of the state as one of the safest in the country was partly attributable to the cooperation between Ogun and Oyo states.
I want to thank His Excellency for finding time to coming to Ogun State. I must state that he decided that he was coming to Ogun State. I would have gladly come to Oyo State as well. But he said to me, I want to come with my team to Ogun State, and we're extremely happy and delighted to have you. Your visit is coming just about 3 weeks after our beloved President Muhammadu Buhari, Ishefar, visited our state to commission some of our projects. I want to thank you for the informal cooperation that I've enjoyed with you and our people have enjoyed. I want to thank you for identifying with us, because I know that day you were not available because we had lost one of our illustrious sons, former governor Akala, and you were busy attending to that, but your deputy governor represented you very well.
Highlighting the common history of both states, Prince Abiodun lamented the challenge posed by the vastness of the boundary lines, which appear to be taken advantage of by folks devoted to crime and criminality.
Our two states share a lot in common. We share both historical and political antecedents. Ogun and Oyo states come from the same patrimony. We both belong to the old Western Nigeria, and we were created the same day. So we have a lot of ancestors that bind us together. So today's bilateral security meeting, which I'm not sure is probably the first between any two states in Nigeria, is different in history, common heritage, and cultural affinity. The state shares borders with all the southwestern states except 86. However, our longest stretch of borderline is with Oyo State. 336 kilometers of borderline, covering 6 local government areas: Abeokuta North, Imeko-Afon, Odeda, Remo North, Obafemi-Wode, and Ijebu North. These, our borders, are such that it makes for the interaction of our communities, which are largely agrarian. It also has allowed us to witness recurring security challenges. We've had farmer herders crises that led to destruction of farmlands, cattle, other valuables on both sides, and unfortunately, loss of human lives. We've witnessed cases of kidnapping, which has actually gone on the increase lately, and all other nefarious activities around these border communities, and even around the city suburbs. We must put a stop to this. Hence the need for this kind of interface.
He asserts the peculiarities of this collaboration and enumerates the measures of the state government at tackling its own side of the immense challenge.
This collaboration is even peculiar, not just because your state is our neighbor, but the largest by land mass of the 6 southwestern states and the political capital of our zone. Thus, whatever happens in Oyo, only a question of time will have ripple effect in all the 5 states. No doubt, each of the states have peculiar security challenges, and we've both been dealing with them through our internal security architecture. In Ogun State, we've taken the liberty to put in place far-reaching measures to confront these challenges. When we assumed office, about 31 months ago, we constituted the State Security Council and ensured that, as a matter of fact, I believe the first meeting I had after I was sworn in was a meeting of the State Security Council, which hitherto had not met for probably almost 3 years. We constituted the Security Trust Fund, and we ensured that it was headed and populated by distinguished men of the private sector. This has aided in the funding of our security architecture. The last 2 years, we purchased and distributed twice hundreds of security patrol vans, motorcycles, armored personnel carriers, all fitted with state-of-the-art communication equipment, and procured other protective gear for our security agencies. In line with the agreement in Ibadan and our resolve, we inaugurated our own state chapter of the Southwest Security Network, otherwise known as Amotekun, on the 1st of April 2021. We also had to set up what we call the JSIS, the Joint Security Intervention Squad, which was an ad hoc security arrangement deployed to the Yewa corridor to respond to the farmer herders crisis.
Prince Abiodun spoke extensively on the recently constituted OP MESA, insisting that partnership and collaboration remained essential tools for success in this collective drive.
January this year, just last week, we launched our OP Meta, which is a joint security apparatus that combines the Army, the State Department of Security, the police, civil defense, and Amotekun. I know you have your own version of that called Operation Boss. Your Excellency, you know as well as I do that fighting crime is not just a matter of guns and gadgets. There's a nexus between crime, unemployment, illiteracy, drug abuse, and so on and so forth. These explains why in Ogun State we've been very creative in job creation. And as such, we have ensured that we've executed a lot of our projects through direct labor so as to ensure that our men and women and artisans are otherwise engaged. As a matter of fact, in other instances where we used bigger contractors, we've ensured that they employ our youths from the immediate corridor where the projects are being executed. This has, in no small measure, assisted us in getting our youth engaged. Also, is our agricultural development programs. They are directly targeted at empowering our youth, such of which is the Anchor Borers program has been very successful. To date, I believe we've done almost 40,000 youths have been employed through our Anchor Borers program. I encourage you to know that these arrangements have assisted us in that relative peace that we enjoy in the States. I guess that is why when Mr. President came 3 weeks ago, he probably affirmed that the state is one of the most peaceful states in Nigeria. We must, however, jointly and quickly find ways to cooperate and collaborate to find solutions to the various security challenges in these communities. This is why today's bilateral meeting is extremely, very important and very timely. The state government will continue to promote partnership between our state and all other states.
This is Ogun State. Let us continue to maintain our goodly nature by doing the right things at all times. Pay your taxes regularly. Dump your refuse in designated places. Live happily with your neighbors. Let us continue to make Ogun State great. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ogun, àjọṣe gbogbo wa ni.
In his remarks, Oyo State Governor Engineer Seyi Makinde, commending Prince Abiodun for putting the meeting together, stressed the power of partnership and collaboration, affirming that brotherhood and oneness were key to development.
We've been talking about this meeting for, like my brother said, about almost 8-9 months. The first time was when we had an event in the meeting. But when we met last week in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, we now said, my brother, with all these happenings around here, I think it is absolutely necessary, for us to have this interaction. We said, okay, let's firm it up on Tuesday, Monday, and then yesterday. And I'll say that I am pleasantly surprised at this quick organization that has gone into this. It shows that the administration in Ogun State, you're quick and working on your feet, and you can get things done very quick. You cannot do it without everyone that is in this room, including the traditional rulers, because in Oyo State, we did an involuntary policing effort where we involved vigilantes, traditional institutions, and that has helped us. So we're here to share all of those ideas, and I believe at the end of the day, we should come up with a communique that we will both will give our commitment to it, and the entire generality of our people should see real improvement, at the end of the day. And this is just 2 states out of 36. But if 2 states out of 36 becomes extremely really peaceful, it is 2 minus 36. The other 34 also can take a cue from it and go do whatever will benefit their region.
A technical session preceded the remarks by the 2 state chief executives, after which a communique was signed between representatives of the 2 states, which was read by the Oyo State Attorney General.
After extensive deliberations, which included a review of the security architecture initiatives in the 2 states, the meeting resolved as follows. 1. To set up a high-level joint security committee to focus on and proactively address security matters along the boundary communities and interstate roads. The committee will meet at regular intervals to provide oversight, review progress, and take necessary actions. 2. To set up a joint border security task force with membership drawn from various security agencies in the 2 states to patrol the border communities to ensure security of lives and property for residents and commuters. Members of the task force will be trained and orientated on the rules of engagement to prevent unwholesome practices. 3. To jointly collaborate on emergency/distress calls, especially on the highways that connect the 2 states. 4. To ensure experiences and intelligence on security matters to assist overall safety and security of lives and property in the 2 states and the nation at large. 5. To effectively engage, cooperate, and collaborate with all the stakeholders, including but not limited to the federal government, state and non-state actors, traditional institutions, religious groups, community development associations, among others, whose input and support are required for improved security in the 2 states and around the border communities. 6. The meeting agreed to implement the following initiatives in the short possible time: threat assessment and analysis along the border corridors, deployment of CCTV on interstate highways, setting up of outposts along the border communities for the use of the Joint Border Security Task Force, harmonization and mainstreaming of voluntary policing and informal security outfits, timeous and diligent prosecution of criminals to signify the resolve of the governments of both states to clamp down on criminality. In this wise, the attorneys general of the 2 states should ensure synergy between law enforcement agencies and their prosecution departments or directorates during the investigation and prosecution phases of each case.
Invariably, signing of the communique is a bold step in stemming the attendant vices of criminals which are rampant along the Ogun-Oyo State corridor, and for the citizens to live in peace and tranquility, devoid of fear.